Hello guys, and welcome to episode 107 of the NGB podcast. I am your host Ben. I am joined this week by Matthew, who is there.
Hello!
Who's got the stream on?
No!
Oh, Jesus Beacon.
That's brilliant. What a start. Yeah! Episode 107. So we've got the stream on. Yeah, we've got some audio feedback already. I'm Ben. I'm joined by Matt down there. I am joined by Andy.
Hello.
Who has his 50 style microphone for some reason through his laptop.
Yeah, the laptop's playing up. It's being an arse. Professionals.
Yes. And then we've also got Jonny, who I believe is probably still playing Rocket League.
I put it down. I feel like I could have got another game in the time that we were fucking about, but I have put it down now.
We weren't fucking about. We were doing stuff.
The swearing started early this evening.
Anyway, right. So we're gonna, are we all well? First off, Jonny, are you well? Apart from me,
I'm fucking dying, mate. Yeah.
What's wrong?
I don't drink these days, but I had a glass of wine last night, and it's fucking done me, mate.
It's sure you just got a cold.
A glass of wine.
I had a glass of wine, and I just feel horrible.
You see what I have to work with. You see, this is the level of amazing people I have to work with. Andy, how are you?
I don't drink anymore.
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you for asking, Andy. Thank you.
People don't often do that, but yeah, I'm good.
I don't care. That's why I don't.
No one cares. Yeah.
Yeah. And how's Matthew? Are you well, Matthew?
Sound as a pound.
Excellent. Right.
A new pound or an old pound?
Well, it'll have to be a new pound because the old pounds aren't legal tender anymore.
But I prefer the old ones. They look better. They look used.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is apparently a monetary podcast where we talk about all things money. But basically, I'm going to start off with what we've been playing. So, first off, I've been playing some Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, which is obviously the second in the Lego Marvel Superheroes franchise. Not the second Lego game. Not by a long way. Jonny, you are genuinely still playing Rocket League, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm just looking at Twitter.
Okay, right.
For work purposes, I might add.
Okay, well, basically, yeah, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 is, as you'd expect, it's a Lego game. It's got a lot of Marvel folk in it. You start off playing as the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's all right. Like in terms of, well, as far as Lego games go, I've got a lot to like about Lego games. I think they're all right. What?
You're like, there's a lot to like about them. They're all right.
They are.
There's not a lot to like, Ben.
No, there is a lot to like about them. They're kind of.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing. I just thought it's funny the way you said, like, there's a lot to like. They're okay.
Well, they are pretty good.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, Charles in the chat, by the way, says the old pound for the win. New one looks like a euro. Fair enough.
Going Brexit chat.
It's going to be Brexit chat.
We could probably go Brexit way.
We've already done that, haven't we?
We did, yeah, and it didn't go down too well. So anyway, yeah, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, which is a bit of a mouthful. I'll just call it Lego Marvel 2. It's standard Lego fare, to be honest. I think I'm starting to maybe get a little bit fatigued of them now. Like, I don't really know what more you can say other than, hey, it's another Lego game, and this time it's got more superheroes in it. Yeah.
We were saying before we started recording that, I was saying this because I've got great insights, that the Lego games are all... Stop talking, Beacon. I'm talking. You're like a man on Twitter interrupting a woman. Shush.
Oh, dear.
I'm having an opinion. Right.
Now, there we go.
What I'm saying is, all the Lego games, they could plausibly be just DLC because they're all kind of the same game with a different skin over them.
I mean, possibly...
I mean, there's a formula there, isn't there, Ben?
Yeah, there is. Like, there's no... there's no doubt about it. Like, they're not reinventing the wheel every time they put one out. It is very much kind of, go over somewhere, smash something up a little bit, get some bricks out of it, build another thing, have a big thing, and it's a bit kind of, it's formulaic at this point, and it's kind of, tab A into slot B. I
guess the whole DLC angle, the sort of the platform with the DLC angle, was kind of where they were going with Dimensions.
Yes.
And that's kind of not really worked out for them in the long run, has it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've killed Dimensions. It's they've confirmed that it's dead, and I had a bit of an obituary moment. I thought, oh, that's really sad. But I mean, I love Dimensions. I've got no shame in that. I think it's been a fantastic run for it. I think ultimately, like, you know, it probably could have been a bit of a longer. It could have had a bit of a longer tail to it, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what they do in future. I just kind of like the unique little figures. I'll just not my microphone. I just not like those unique little figures that you got, like the Sonic the Hedgehog one and stuff like that.
They look pretty good.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. But the thing is, ultimately, you're coming back to the Lego games, and really, like, when you've not got the sort of unique mechanics of Dimensions, it is a little bit samey. It is a little bit kind of, you know, this is the same game that they released with Lego Star Wars way back when, just with new characters in it from the Marvel universe. So
yeah,
that's kind of it on there. I mean, I've also been playing some Assassin's Creed because I'm still playing that game because it is bigger than the moon. Honestly, I really want to get my review written and out of this game because it's fucking huge, but I can't. I just can't get finished with it. Like, every time you go to do something, it's like you go to do something and then it's, oh, cool, here's another cool thing that's going to happen. We've got some gameplay that's running at the moment, actually, and it's a really cool bit where I was like, you know what, I'm supposed to jump in the back of this. I'm supposed to kill this driver of this convoy cart, and basically, the first time I did it, I went to do it and I ran at them and I attacked them head on and I got absolutely annihilated. So what I did in the gameplay this time around was, like, I hid on this little platform above it and then jumped into a hay bale which was on the back of one of the carts. As he was turning a corner, stabbed him in the neck. It's pretty cool. Like, you know, essentially that is what Assassin's Creed is and always will be to me. It's like stabbing dudes in the neck simulator. Yeah, I mean, it's a really good game. I really do want to get my review out because I just want to be done with it in a way so I can kind of just play it to enjoy it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great game. I really did enjoy. Well, I am enjoying my time with it. And I think, you know, people that have had criticisms of the Assassin's Creed franchise before, completely fairly, I think, you know, this time around it's probably a decent point to come back to the franchise with. So, right, Jonny.
Hi.
What have you been playing? As if we need to ask the question of what you've been playing.
What are you still playing?
There was a wonderful game. Let me tell you a story, ladies and gentlemen. There used to be an amazing game on PS4. It's called Rocket League, and I played it a lot, and I really enjoyed it. And then I kind of started playing other stuff because that's how it is when you write about video games, right? You just kind of move on to the next thing because you've got to. And then it came out on Switch this week, and I've returned to Rocket League, but I can now play it, like, you know, in bed and stuff. It's really good. I've been playing a lot of Rocket League, guys. Guys?
Yeah.
No?
What?
Yeah. Rocket League.
So, Rocket League.
Are you now running the footage I sent you?
Yes, I am.
Is there the bit in it where I scored and then a guy called me a noob? Because I really enjoyed that. I was like, I just fucking scored past you. Don't call me a noob.
So it's definitely still Rocket League then. Like,
there's still cuts on it, yeah. Sorry for the language. Yeah, there's still people on it that I banned.
Sorry for the language. Should have said that 5 minutes ago when we opened.
This is very true.
Yeah, that's just the world. That's not Rocket League. That's people are just generally quite terrible. I know it's basically the same game on the Switch. It doesn't look great, but, you know, I don't think anyone is buying any Switch games for how they look. It's not Forza, is it? It's fucking Rocket League. So I don't think that's a problem. It's really good. 9 out of 10.
Cool.
That's it.
I mean, you say it doesn't look great. From the footage that we've got up at the moment, like...
Which I can't see, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've seen it. You recorded it, you Ben.
I did record it, but, you know, that was hours ago. I mean, I was so much younger then, Ben.
I mean, it's... The thing is, like, a lot of stuff that I've seen a lot of screenshots of it. This is the first time I'd actually seen it in motion.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, this is obviously going to be running docked, so this is going to be slightly, you know, slightly higher res, slightly better performance, but on handheld, does it sort of keep it 60 frames a second?
Yeah, I've had no problems with that at all.
Cool. Okay,
it's been fine. Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. That's the key thing for me. Is like, you know, we'll probably get into a discussion about this a little bit later on, where, you know, we'll discuss some stuff about the Xbox One X and things like that. But I much prefer having a sort of solid frame rate rather than ridiculously high fidelity graphics.
Yeah.
And I think at least Rocket League playing at 60 frames a second on the handheld is going to be a really good, like, solid game to have, So.
Yeah. And Rocket League's such an involving game where, like, it's not like you're kind of gazing around at the scenery in it. You're focused on, like, the ball.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really need to be, like, that sharp.
No.
And it's the best football game ever, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's better than, like, any FIFA and PES games because, like, like, if you're playing FIFA and PES, right? What's Gordon doing?
He's
when you're playing, like, FIFA
I'm
and
shaking
PES,
my head at you.
No, right? But you know how, like, you're running up on goal in, say, like, PES, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you press square to shoot and he shoots, right? And, like, there's just one, like, it's never going to go wrong. You don't have to account for, like, physics or where the ball is or anything. But, like, Rocket League, like, you actually have to think about direction and physics and stuff. And, like, that's more akin to actually playing
football. You never think about physics in Rocket League. You just drive your car into the ball.
No, that's why you're shit, man. And that's why
Jonny, we're watching your footage right now. And if I'm honest, you keep missing it more than fucking anything. You're like, I'll jump and spin, and you still miss the bloody thing. So your physics are way off anyway.
I'm not on top of my game tonight, lads. All right, that was a bad session, but I still scored though, right?
I should probably say
you're hungover. Is that why?
And it's a more realistic football experience than any of those other games.
Oh yes, it's more realistic.
Wow. Okay,
because I quite often think, let's go down the park and play with my car and a football and see what happens.
In terms of the sense of achievement you get, because like you don't just like press square to shoot, you have to fucking like angle it and everything and like get the physics of it right. It's much more realistic.
That's why Matthew is
of scoring a goal.
That's why Matthew's banned from his local park, by the way.
That's not the only reason.
So, well, no.
No, let's not start with things like that.
That and the penis incident. So yeah, it's I mean, it sounds basically like it's Rocket League. It's on the Switch.
That's exactly what it is.
It's a good thing.
Every Switch port is like it's this game you already know. It's on the Switch. I don't know what more you want.
Yeah, I think
Rocket League on Switch.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, there was a couple of games out last week, and indeed one out this week. So there was Rocket League over the past 3 weeks. We've had Rocket League, we've had Doom, and we've got Skyrim now. All on
and
the
LA
Switch.
Noire.
And LA Noire, of course, yes. LA Noire.
So, are they going to come up with something new at some point, or are we just remaking everything that's older?
Mate, I was going to say play Mario Kart, and then I realised that's a re-release. Yeah, there are. You know, the Mario Odyssey is fucking excellent. It really is.
Very good, isn't it?
Yeah. So, okay, cool. So obviously that's Rocket League. Basically, you've been playing a lot of stuff on the Switch.
It's the best football game ever. Yeah.
Okay, right. That's the second time you said that now.
That's Johnny's game of the year again. Is it?
It's not my game of the year again because I don't think it's eligible for game of the year.
No, it's not
in our chart.
No,
it's
not.
Okay. In Johnny's chart, though, it is.
No.
The game of the year is obviously Breath of the Wild. I don't know why that's anyone's debating it.
We need to have this conversation. Like
it's Breath of the Wild, though, isn't it?
I am not 100% sold.
Well, it is.
Well, I'm not 100% sure. We will have this conversation, and we will no doubt have this conversation.
We've just had it. It's Breath of the Wild. I don't know what.
I was going to say, it's still mid-November, Johnny. It's not time for Game of the Year yet.
It is Game of the Year time. It's Breath of the Wild.
Is it really? I'm on the fence about whether it's Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey.
It is Breath of the Wild.
What about for us with no Switch?
You don't count.
It's still the best game of the year. It's just not necessarily the best game of the year that you can play.
That's the now new caveat of the chart. Only games that Matt has played. Number one, Need for Speed.
For my Xbox One X, I'm still waiting for my Switch.
Well,
and I'm still waiting for a couple games, which I'm putting. Gary, as him, where are me games? Consoles.
Oh dear. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get those sent to you anyway.
Bastards.
But so let's kind of move in to Andy. Andy, you have been playing. You've been playing a game that is not on a console.
It's not. It's not.
It's not
on.
It's
a physical thing.
It is. It's a physical.
It's a physical thing. I guess you could call it a board game, but it does require a electronic gaming-ish device to actually use.
Yeah.
It's called Drop Mix.
Okay.
And it's developed by Harmonix, and it's distributed by Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
And it is basically a card game that you play using a kind of Bluetooth wedge board thing.
Mm-hmm.
that connect to the iDevice of your choice.
Cool.
In the video we've got going, I got some Play Going on my iPad there.
Yep.
It also connects to Android devices as well, so you could rig your phone up to it. And it's a musical card game. So as you're playing, you've got these cards that you place down on the board, and they've got NFC chips in them, which tell the device that it's connected to what piece of a song to play, and they're all sort of popular music. So you've got a bit of Ed Sheeran in there, you've got some Meghan Trainor, some Disturbed, some Weezer, and it's a neat little sort of Uno-y sort of style card game where you're always trying to sort of beat the last turn of the other player. It's got a couple of little tricks up its sleeve. The app takes care of scoring for you, for example, so you always know that you're going to be playing legal moves.
Right.
And there's a little button on the end of the board which you can't really see in the video, but once you hit that, it gives you a chance to basically knock your opponent's cards off the board and lose them some points. And yeah, it's a really fun game, but the actual mechanics behind the way that it handles the audio mixing and taking these different samples and kind of remix them on the fly, changing up the tempo and changing up the key signature that they're in.
Yeah.
You can actually create some really cool sounding tunes. And it's got a little freestyle mode that actually allows you to create things on the fly and just kind of share those with your friends as well. Upload them to YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple of videos on YouTube now, actually, of the of the sort of couple of mixes that you've done.
Yeah,
I'm really, really intrigued by this game. It looks pretty cool. Like, we're going to get together at some point and sort of go through a couple of games that we've got and get some stuff recorded to go up either this weekend or early part of next week. But this looks really fucking cool.
It's really cool, and it's a really fun card game as well. It's easy enough to pick up that you could kind of drop it into a party situation.
Yeah.
And it's not got the kind of hang-ups that I think a lot of Harmonix's other party games, like, say, Rock Band, would have, because you're not trying to teach your grandma how to play a plastic guitar. Everyone can understand how to play a card game, but you've got the added fun of this is music that you recognise.
Yeah.
And obviously, being Harmonix, there's add-on content for it. There are packs with other cards in that you can buy.
Yep.
It is being sold at the minute exclusively in the UK through Game.
Okay.
I was in our local store today, and they've actually got some in on the shelf. Street date was Tuesday, but they didn't actually have any in store. It was only purchasable on the website.
Okay.
But I popped in today. They seem to be getting them into the stores across the country. The price is a bit eye-watering.
Okay, what's the price?
For the base set. For the actual unit and 4 decks of cards, which is 60 cards in total, it's £120.
Holy shit, the bed.
I think that is
$1
Wow.
But the add-ons aren't as expensive as I was expecting them to be. An extra deck will set you back 15 quid. And then there are other decks that you have to buy individually, which will set you back a £5 for 5 cards. Now, that sounds like a lot, but to me, who also plays sort of few collectible card games, doesn't seem that much, because 15 quid will get you a brand new deck, 5 quid will get you some interesting new cards, and it's got a deck building mechanic in it, so you can actually mix and match the cards to create your own decks.
Okay.
And create your own strategies. And it'll keep track of your collection as well. So, you've got it's quite flexible. Yeah. And I'm hoping that because it's app-based, Harmonix will be able to kind of add to that over the years without having to actually release that much in the way of sort of new physical content for it. I mean, obviously, we'll want them to release new physical content for it, but you could upgrade the app to, for example, have customizable game modes, or change up some of the game modes that are in there existingly, change the balance of things and things like that.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's a system that could be quite flexible going forwards, but that initial investment is a bit rich.
Yeah, I mean, we'll come on to some stuff in terms of big investments in a couple of minutes. But yeah,
But it is a tremendous game.
It does look. It does look like
yeah.
it's a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks suitably high tech. You know, it's kind
Yes.
of it's one of those things. So,
But you can see the video there with the lights flashing away, and it's
yeah, it's got my attention. And to be honest,
Yeah.
like I was when we were talking about it, I was quite intrigued, and then I saw, you know, I didn't necessarily see the price on it, but I did I had the conversation with my wife. I was like, you know, we should probably check this out. And she's like, no, it's video games, meh. And then she saw it and she went, oh, actually, that looks cool. So, you know, it's got a certain amount of crossover appeal and other stuff. So I'm excited to sort of check this out with folks next week.
we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a look.
So cool. Anyway, you talked about things that you buy to progress in the game. I'm working the segues.
Don't do the segue
I'm
thing,
working
man.
the segues. I'm working them in. Oh, come on. Come on.
Golding.
Come on. Right, so Matthew,
Hi.
you've been playing
I've been playing Loot Box.
you need
Loot Box the game.
loot box speed.
2017.
Not that loot
It's
box the game.
exclusive
The other
from
loot
EA.
box the game.
Loot box cars.
It's really fucking expensive. But, no.
So you've been playing
played
Need for Speed Payback.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant game. Actually,
Okay.
I read quite a lot of stuff before I got it, and I was thinking, okay, this sounds like it could be expensive as we get going on.
Yeah.
But to be honest, actually, when you get into it, it's really fun.
Okay.
The story's not too bad, actually. Typical, easy sort of story to follow for Need for Speed, anyway. Sort of what it is. Basically, you play about 3 characters. Your main one's Tyler Morgan. You just there's 4 of you in your crew.
Right.
You start off trying to steal a car.
Okay.
And it goes wrong because you get stabbed in the back, basically, by the person you're stealing the car for.
Do you have to come back for one last job?
Yeah.
And
pretty
that sort
much
of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so hence now, when he gets stabbed in the back for it, and then he gets done by the person who nicked the car off, and then hence after that he wants payback with the whole crew. So he comes back. So it's a big gambling style game in there with it, because you are up against a organisation called the House.
Right, but the house always wins.
This is it, exactly. That's one of the phrases you hear many times during as well, actually. Quite funny. But yes, so you go up against the house, so you have to try and basically then what you're trying to do is steal that car back and get your payback on that person who nicked the car from you or who stabbed you in the back when you're doing it. And,
okay.
So it's good fun though. Typical Need for Speed. I saw somebody write something up saying it's good to see that they've gone back to their Fast and Furious style days, and actually it is.
Yeah.
It's great.
Just a quick one, I should add, we did get some footage captured for this, but it didn't quite come through in time. So the footage you're seeing up there is actually from the wonderful folks at Gamerside. They do a lot of extremely high quality capture stuff, and check them out because they're brilliant. So that's why there was a big Gamerside logo on there. So anyway, carry on, Matthew. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. I forgot where I was now. What was I saying? Oh, no. We're doing that. We're reading quite a lot. Obviously, everybody knows about the whole fun with loot boxes.
Yeah.
But I must say, with this game, I don't see the point in them because, yes, it gives you a bit more money so you can buy things with, but unless you're actually progressing through the game, you can't buy anything anyway.
Right, now this is the question, because, I mean, at this current point, should probably clarify, you've yet to finish the game, is that right?
That's right, yeah, I'm pretty much through it, but you have to, each chapter you go through, it then unlocks a certain amount of things like that.
Okay. Now, the big sort of controversy, and by the way, if you are watching this live, go and vote in our poll. It's in the chat. It's in the description, sorry. Are loot boxes the devil? Yes, no, or not yet?
Is that a leading question, Ben?
Relevant.
I don't know, you're the lawyer. There are, there's basically the three choices. At the minute, yes is winning by quite a substantial margin 83% to 17%.
Leading question.
It's not a leading question. I think they are, I think it's a fair question. Are they the devil? No, they're not. But anyway. The thing about the loot boxes, we're going to come to this in the Star Wars chat because none of us at this point have played Star Wars Battlefront 2. We haven't got a review copy yet. I don't know if we're going to get one. But with regard to Need for Speed, I think we had this conversation in our chat a little bit earlier on, and we said, right, well, it's almost kind of putting the element of, right, doesn't affect me. I'm not really bothered about loot boxes, so yeah, I'm fine. It's like, right, that's not the argument that we need to have. Like, the discussion that we need to have is like, this shit is bad. Like, it doesn't need to be in video games. Now
it's like microtransactions.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
That's the issue with a lot of things like that, because you got them a lot. Still do mobile games and that, don't you? Oh, if you want to progress further, and that's exactly now what they're bringing to a lot of video games is, if you want to progress further quicker, please give us an extra £100 and you can have all this.
And this is the problem. This is where the problem lies, because it's not about like. It's not necessarily about the progression in the game. I mean, it very much is in terms of Battlefront. From what is, from what people have reported on, from what I understand, it's very much a case of like, this is not great for the progression mechanics in the game. But yeah, I don't want them in my games. Like, I
think it's more of a problem to me is if you play quite a bit of an online game where then people can think, if people are willing then to cough up all that money straight away, then they can easily, right, I've got the best stuff because I've just given them an extra 80 quid. Where people like me, where I refuse, I'm like, you can fuck off, I'm not paying any more money for that, bollocks to you. So I start from the start, and if somebody keeps killing me or something like that because they've decided to pay for everything extra, then it's like, well, do you know what, sod you, I can't be arsed. And that's what puts me off those types of games, because of arseholes like that. Well, I want to call them arseholes, I call the company arseholes for putting fucking loot boxes and things in there.
Is it just because you're shit at the game? Is that the problem? I think it sounds like you're shit at the game, mate.
We saw you playing earlier, you couldn't fucking head of that bastard.
Cars don't have heads.
Playing devil's advocate a little bit on this, I do think that the issue with loot boxes is being conflated slightly, like Matt says, with the microtransactions that are going along with them. I think the concept of loot boxes as a whole isn't inherently bad.
No.
You can unlock stuff using this kind of grab bag system. I mean, games like Diablo have been doing that for a long time. Kill an enemy, get some random stuff dropped from it.
I was going to say, the whole concept of the whole concept of Destiny is kind of restricted to well, not restricted, but the whole concept of Destiny is about loot boxes. Whatever you get, you are restricted to. Well, you're not restricted to stuff, but I think it's when you start getting like the competitive advantage. Like Matt says, the smaller picture is, I'm playing this game and someone is destroying me. They've got amazing gear, and they're level 10 or whatever. So it's like, right, they very clearly spent a lot of money to get a lot of stuff very quickly, and they're pissing all over people. The bigger problem. And this is where I've got a real issue with it. And I think after a while, I think me and you had this conversation a while back, Jonny, where we were talking about loot boxes, and you sort of said, well, they're not that much of a problem because I don't see the need to buy them. And then we had the conversation and said, well, actually, it's not necessarily just about, you've got the willpower to say no. It's like the way that they're put into some games, it's quite predatory. It's quite, it's very... I think Kieran actually made a great point on Twitter. Kieran, who isn't with us this week. Not that he's not dead, he's just not here.
He's out shopping with his mummy.
He actually said on the podcast last week, that's it, fuck you guys, I'm not coming on next week. And then he would text me afterwards, he went, oh, I'm really sorry, like that sounds really bad because I'm not going to be there next week. But yeah, so Kieran made a good point, and he said, think about when you were a kid, like somebody who didn't have, their parents didn't have a huge amount of income. They didn't have a lot of money. They saved up to buy the kids the game for Christmas. They saved up to buy the console in the first place. All that stuff. And then all of a sudden they're now in a position where the kids have got to go, they go in and they play the game, and they go into the playground the following day, and they go, oh yeah, I bought 50 quid worth of loot boxes last night. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, I got this. Oh, this. And then the other kids are just there, they're going like, well, I can't afford that. Like, I can't do that. It's suddenly the conversation shifted from what's happening in the game to things that are happening around it, and like these sort of shitty economies that come up around it, and it's horrible. It really is. I don't think that like loot boxes in general have got a place in gaming when it comes to things like you can pay actual money to get stuff in the game. So if you want to pay, if you want to get actual things, if you want to get things that cost actual money, fine. Just like if they said right, EA said right, okay, you can get, let's say in Need for Speed, for example, they've got licensed cars, haven't they, Matt?
Sorry,
they got licensed cars in Need for Speed. Or is is it like
licensed cars,
like proper cars, like BMW?
Oh, sorry, yes, yeah. I'm sorry. I was wondering what. Yeah, no, they have got proper cars.
Cool. So, like, let's say for example, you wanted to get like the top of the line M5, BMW M5 or whatever in Need for Speed, right?
Yeah.
They said, right, you can get this car, but you need to play it for 50 hours to get this car. Right. Some people would think that's great. I really want to play this game for ages. I want to grind to get it. I love this game. It's going to be brilliant. Or you can buy it for £1.
Yeah.
Right? That, I have a separate problem with that, which, to a point, that's fair enough. If you want to skip progression in things, if you want to, pay more money to play less of the game that you've bought, that's your own choice, I guess. But the problem that I've got with it is when someone goes, okay, you can play for 50 hours to get that game, or you can pay £1. Or, well, it's not £1, is it? It's a £5. You can pay a £5 to get a chance of getting that car.
Yeah.
That's infinitely more skeezy.
Stealth gambling.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little stealth about it at this point. It's just.
I mean, I think it's stealth in the way that you don't expect gambling to be in a video game.
No.
Particularly, even like our generation, who we've grown up with them. To us four here, it still seems a bit skeezy. Whereas, like, to anyone like sort of older than us, they just wouldn't expect it at all. So like, you don't know you're getting your kids this thing that is enabling gambling, but you are.
Yeah, you think you're buying your kids. Yep, here's the game. That's it. Have fun. And then all of a sudden, your kid comes. Oh, can I have an extra £5 because I want to get this character? Like, what? I bought you. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, the problem for me is that we've got to this point now where there's so much happening in gaming, and then it's like, right, okay. I kind of don't buy the argument of, games are getting more expensive, so, they need to have this. All games need to have this continual revenue stream. I don't buy that. Like, yes, games are getting more expensive, but FIFA makes literally billions off Ultimate Team. I don't think EA are scrabbling for cash.
No.
Yes, I get it. It's a business. They've got shareholders and all the rest of it. But, I mean, we've wrapped it up a little bit in terms of what we've been playing. We've moved into the news a little bit because the big controversy this week has obviously been about Star Wars Battlefront 2. So
can I just finish my bit and just say that about and Need for Speed though?
Yes,
it is a brilliant game.
Okay.
It is really fun. They have actually gone backwards with it as well, which is good. Where they've gone, I say, more Fast and Furious wise, but also when I played it, to be honest, loot boxes, I don't think they matter in that game because they don't seem to make much of a difference unless you've actually physically progressed through it yourself. in that sort of chance.
So I think that's the problem that a lot of people are getting. Like when it's come to the stuff that I've seen, is that you need to get a lot of stuff, and the only way to get some of that stuff is through loot boxes and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's going to necessarily just be the progression stuff, or whether it's going to be, you know, something else entirely.
Well,
so
the only thing you can buy is currency, as in for loot box wise. The only thing you can get is currency.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I've not had any problem having to progress through the game and thinking, oh, I need to buy this. Okay. I've not had that, so.
I mean, it sounds like it becomes a little bit more of an issue slowly getting to, you know, towards the end game and stuff, where you've really got to grind it out. But
yeah,
I mean, we'll see what happens, you know, as you get a little bit further down, as stuff goes on. So
yeah.
I mean, Tom does make a good point in the chat. He said, you know, when you're designing your game to have time-saving microtransactions, are you not going to make it deliberately more tedious in places to try and get people to pay for the convenience? It's like, it's a fair point. And another fair point that he's made is, you know, if the loot boxes don't matter, then why are they in the game? You know, it's a fair question. And ultimately it is to entice people to get these, you know, to pay. Now,
I did see an article, sorry, just continuing on the loot box thing. There's actually been a report gone out earlier this evening on Eurogamer that apparently the Dutch Gambling Authority
Belgian
has launched Dutch.
Belgian.
And the Dutch as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Belgian Gaming Commission and the Dutch Gambling Authority.
Cool.
They've both done it. Yeah. No, I didn't read that bit further down below the fold. Yeah, so two European authorities have launched investigations as to whether loot boxes are games of chance and should be considered gambling.
I mean, I think to a point they should be, because it's like, I don't know, it's getting a bit ridiculous, to be honest. Yeah, I don't like how it's getting. I don't like where the industry's going with this, and it's.
Well, the problem is it seems to kind of lag behind other things like films, because like when violent video games became a thing through like advances and stuff, it took a while for video games to catch up and get age ratings, and I think the same thing's happening now, and it's taking a while for people to catch up and think, oh, this probably shouldn't, it probably isn't what people think they're buying. We should probably put an age rating or do some investigation into it.
Yeah.
The problem is as well, I think, because you are getting pretty much majority of the gamers buying everything, all these loot boxes. It's only going to get worse until something else happens.
That's the problem. This isn't going to stop until people stop buying them. And
that will never happen.
No, you know, because you're always going to have the whales. You know, and I think that's a really nasty term, but it's apparently, you know, what even the companies use. You know, you've got these whales that pay astonishing amounts of money. I mean, I know I mentioned it last week. I mentioned it in last week's podcast. I mentioned it a couple of times before. There was a thing on Eurogamer where somebody invested, or somebody bought $15,000 worth of Mass Effect 2 multiplayer crates.
Not even a good game. Fucking Mass Effect.
Whoa. If
they had a good game, imagine how much they'd have spent.
I will fight you on this. Mass Effect 2 is incredible. The multiplayer
shagging, mate. Shagging aliens. I don't care.
The multiplayer wasn't great, admittedly, but you know, like that. If you were to say on a bad multiplayer mode, I would have been all with you. But you know, someone spending 15 grand on that, like, there, from what I've understood, like on Clash Royale or Clash of Clans or whatever, you know, on mobile games, you've got investment bankers that have got their own little, you know, team on Clash of Clans. So because of the insane amount of money that they make, they will just throw tens of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of pounds at this game just because they want to be better than, you know, their mate that works in a different bank. It's fucking ridiculous.
And that's what it is. It's really Tory to be able to sort of buy abilities and buy to win.
Paying to get something that you've not earned, that is massively Tory. Anyway, Andy, you were saying.
I think there is another aspect to it as well. This is something I was chatting with. I think we were talking about it a while back, but I was also chatting with a couple of other guys I know about it. Is the gamers that only buy one or two games a year, the kind of the franchise fanboys, I guess, as you were. I mean, they do exist, and there are probably more of them, an increasingly larger amount of people that will just buy consoles to play FIFA or COD or Battlefront or whatever. And these are the people that are going to be wanting to invest more in post-purchase content because they're not.
Bless you, Matthew.
Sorry.
Because they're not going to want to be, you know, they're going to want to stick with that game over time rather than, oh God, you know, I've got Horizon here that I need to get on with. I've got Mario Odyssey here.
Yeah.
I haven't got time to pay for loot boxes.
Yeah.
Screw that. I'm not going to be even bother thinking about the game. They're going to say, all right, I've got a COD. That's my game for the year.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's the
buy
thing.
all the things for it.
You know, when we were what? Well, Call of Duty 4 came out 10 years ago, so
yeah,
amazing.
You know, like that's the thing. There was a point where me and Matt, we would go to, you know, we'd go into Lincoln midnight on Call of Duty launch night. We'd buy Call of Duty, we'd sit there and we'd play it, and that would be our game for at least 6 months, like 6 months, 10 months, or whatever. That's the audience that they're going for. Like, they're not going for us with these kinds of microtransactions, these kinds of stuff. But yeah, I mean, we'll move into, you know, we can talk about this for weeks if we had a chance to. But Battlefront 2 is obviously the one that's had the big shitstorm this week. I've pulled up a couple of news articles here where basically DICE had an AMA on Reddit, so they said, right, okay, we've got you know, we've heard your criticisms, we've heard the reaction, we're disappointed in it, you know, we're sad or whatever. It's like, right, you're sad about it because you fucked up. Like,
yeah,
it's I hate to be that reductive about it, but ultimately they have fucked up. You know, the article that I pulled up...
fucked up, though? Because they've made a lot of money regardless.
Well, yeah.
Like, you could put a Star Wars logo on a dead frog and people would fucking buy it. So, like...
Where's this dead frog? I need this...
Exactly.
Give me this dead frog.
So, like, so there's
Jar Jar Binks.
I was going to say, was that not Jar Jar Binks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that not Jar Jar Binks?
I mean, you say fucked up, but they made a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, they have. Like,
so I don't know if they fucked up.
The thing is, this game is going to sell, like, regardless. It's not even out yet, and this controversy has fucking gone...
It is out, isn't it?
It's out. Well, it's out if you paid 80 quid for it.
Okay.
If you've paid 80 quid for it, then it's, you know, it's been out.
Oh, that would explain it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You would pay £80 just. For
Jess, writer for NGB, Jess, who's paid.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah,
I didn't know if he was doing it.
That's why you spent 80 quid on a fucking.
But
I didn't know if you were doing that.
The thing is, like,
not,
the thing is, so Aaron's kind of said in the chat, you know, that EA did say the moment they said there was no season pass, we should have expected this, and I think he's right in that a lot of people said, you know, that DICE came out and said, right, we're not going to have a season pass for Battlefront 2 because of the way that we split we split our player base. We split the player base in the first game. It didn't go well. There was hardly anybody playing some of the newer maps, and you know, it fell apart a little bit. So they've kind of turned around and gone, right, okay, all the content, all the maps and everything is going to be completely free. So, like Aaron said in the chat, you know, you get to that point where you go, right, we need to make money somehow because we're not going to have a season pass. So it's like, okay, cool. That means that we can all play all the maps. So how are they going to monetize it? And I think there was a lot of people that were sat there going, they're going to fuck this up. But how are they going to fuck this up? That's the thing. And they've managed to do it in... turns out the answer is with some style. So, I mean, Aaron's asked here, so I think we're all in agreement that EA went about this wrong. How would you resolve the cost for whatever content they're adding to the game in the future? So, Tom's immediate response in the chat is, there we go, change your lightsaber colour for $5, idiots will buy it. I'd buy it.
Is that Tom Riley?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Tom.
Yeah.
Hi.
So, yeah, like, that's the thing. They need to get this revenue stream, and I don't... Fundamentally, again, I don't think it goes back to the whole cosmetics thing. Like, if you want to get cosmetics, like, Overwatch to a point is kind of, you know, the loot box stuff in there. To a point, it's tolerable, but it's sort of opened the floodgates to all of this shit that's gone on. So, I don't know, is the honest answer. And if I had the answer, then I wouldn't be sat in a 3-bedroom terraced house. You know, I'd be in a fucking mansion somewhere earning all of the money. You know, I think it's a different kind of... it's a difficult argument to have. Sorry, because I don't know what the answer is. I don't think any of us really know what the answer is. It's like I just don't want to have shitty gambling mechanics in a game that I'm gonna potentially have paid £45 for.
I think the only or the way I'm looking at it, not saying the only way to look at it, is that it is not.
Other opinions are available.
Pipe down, Beacon. I'm fucking talking here, all right? It's always going to be there because it makes money, and like as Aaron's pointed out, like they've got to monetize these extra content somehow. I think they're doing season pass, but also I'm still hopeful that it's not going to pervade into like all areas of gaming. Like, I'm fairly confident it will stay in like just fucking EA's like blockbusters. I'm not really that bothered about anyway.
Yeah.
So I hope it's kind of just going to sort of stay in that area of gaming, in the kind of big franchises, and not leak its way down to anything else. But
yeah. Matt's showing off his Lincoln City badge, but there we go. Okay. Yeah, I do agree. I think like it's a difficult one, and I think the explosion of loot boxes over the past year has been nothing short of ridiculous, to be honest. I don't know where it's come from. I don't know where it's going. I certainly don't want it anymore. I think, Jonny, you reviewed Shadow of War for us. That obviously had a big controversy around that.
It did.
Was that kind of a... Was that...
Ben.
Yeah?
That was before I was a woke bae. Back then, I was like, loot boxes. No, I was not woke. Loot boxes, I was like, I don't gamble. I've never had a problem with gambling. I don't care. I just ignore them. And obviously, we had our little chat, and I was like, now I'm woke. Gambling is a problem. Even if I don't do it, it is an issue. So when I reviewed that, I was like, I don't really care. I can avoid these things. But now looking back at it, I'm like, well, it's still a good fun game, but it's kind of tainted.
Yeah,
I think this is the problem, isn't it? This is the thing with Battlefront, and sounds like it. For Need for Speed, I think the general opinion is going to be these games are good and they are fun and they are not inherently broken mechanics wise, but they're screwed up because of this rampant post-purchase monetization that's going on. It's kind of ruining good games.
Yeah, it's.
I tell you what, it doesn't have loot boxes in it. Rocket League.
Oh, it does. It does.
What?
Rocket League does have loot boxes.
What do you mean?
It's got loot boxes.
What do you mean?
No, it's got loot boxes. It's got. Is
that a new development?
It's been like over the past year.
Oh shit, son.
Yeah.
Well, I take it back. It's still the best football game ever. But like, what kind of loot box? What form do they take?
It had it. I don't know if it still did, but it did have at one point. A bunch of crates that dropped. So you got a loot crate with stuff in it. And I think somebody will probably correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think at one point there was an actual discussion around having keys that you pay to unlock the crates with. So like you would get the key for Tom has immediately just put in the chat Rocket League has shitloads.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's CSGO style with free crates and paid keys. So you get the crates drop in the game, and then to unlock the crate, you need to buy a key.
Oh shit!
Which is
That's
a
terrible.
bit So I mean, it's kind of
get it off your Switch now.
It's kind of inherent. So
the milkshake duck stunned me. It was pure.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll wrap it up with the Star Wars chat because we're gonna move on to a couple of other bits. Basically, the thing is with Star Wars Battlefront 2 is that they've said somebody ran the maths on it and said if you want to get literally everything in the game, right, you need to play the game for over 4,000 hours. That's 6 months. That's 6 solid months of doing nothing but playing Star Wars.
There are some lazy motherfuckers who might do.
But the thing is, that's 6 months playing the game and getting the best of everything. Like, that's getting the best possible chance of getting something out of the loot boxes.
Yeah. I guess as well with the loot boxes in Star Wars as well is that they are gating game-changing content like power characters, abilities, new weapons. It's not just here's another skin for your car and something to stick on the aerial.
Yeah.
It's literally if you have this, you can be better than this other person.
Yeah. So anyway,
dirty game.
Yeah, it's not great. So we'll wrap up the Star Wars chat there because again we could talk about this forever, and I think
we will be talking about it forever. I think this conversation is going to go on for a very long time.
I mean, the conversation about loot crates is just going to run and run and run for as long as I can envision it, to be honest. So on to fun news. Super Bomberman R, one of the Switch launch games, is again getting another update today. It's got a bunch of stuff in it, so it's getting some. It's got a Grand Prix mode, which Konami has said that it's designed for future esports initiatives, which is basically a 3v3 mode. So we can probably give that a bit of a go. Crystal matches task the two teams with collecting crystals to earn points. Getting bomb means you lose half your total. Then there's the basic bomber match, which follows standard Bomberman rules. There's lots else too. So there's a new World 7 story, so they're adding stuff to the story. New bosses, new characters, and for some reason pets. So there we go. So you can now
they're not gated in loot boxes. They're all free.
Let's be fair. Konami's come under some shit over the past year or so, but Konami they're adding a lot of stuff to Bomberman R, and I think it's a great move from them, to be honest. They put through some really cool characters earlier on in the year where they had, I think they had a Zone of the Enders one, they had a Pyramid Head from Silent Hill, Simon Belmont from Castlevania. There's a lot of stuff happening, They've said, it says here, writing on the game's Facebook page, the company promised yet more free content to come. We are not done. The future is bright for Bomberman. I really like Bomberman R. I think it was a little bit rough at launch. I think they had a few teething troubles, particularly in the technical area where, there was some frame rate problems with it and stuff like that. But it's improved a hell of a lot, and they're putting a lot into it. So that was pretty good. Do you guys remember Theme Hospital?
Oh yes.
There we go.
Big head disease.
Bloaty head. Yes.
That was it, yeah.
So Oxymoron Games. I'm just playing the trailer now in the chat. Sorry, in the video. It looks really good. They're building a game called Project Hospital, which is essentially Theme Hospital. It looks like it's got a little bit more of a serious side to it. But that's just from the look of the trailer. It looks really good. Like it's kind of.
I like that.
Yeah, it does look really cool, actually. So there's definitely one to keep your eye on. It looks a little bit, like Theme Hospital, just without bloaty head disease. So I'm
a little bit more up to date.
Well, I've still got Theme Hospital on my PC. I think it was free on for a while on Origin, so I got that.
It was, yeah.
So yeah, Oxymoron says that the final game will feature hundreds of real world diseases and injuries. So sadly, no bloaty head, hairyitis, slack tongue, or the squits. I'm pretty sure someone will mod that. Like someone will put something together. And
you can get syphilis.
Put that in. Yeah, I'm sure somebody will get syphilis.
Is that making it a bit more grim? Because like Theme Hospital, obviously, there's a guy who thinks he's Elvis. But if you're going this guy's got AIDS, is that a bit grim for a video game? I don't know. I feel like that might take the fun out of it if someone's actually fucking dying. What?
I mean,
achievement unlocked cured AIDS.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Is that a subject for a video game to do? Is it management sim? I don't know. It seems a bit grim.
I mean, yeah. Oh, one thing I didn't mention that I've been playing actually, which this has kind of reminded me of.
The subject.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Football Manager this week. Football Manager 2018. It's really fucking good, lads. I got it on Friday. I downloaded it. It was downloaded to my PC at 8 o'clock, and I went to bed at 2 because I didn't realise what the time was. That's a proper Football Manager game, and it's back. So
I love games like that,
mate. Football Manager is amazing. So anyway, yeah. Basically, yeah. Project Hospital looks pretty good, and I'm positive someone's going to put a mod in there, so they'll have all of the classic Theme Hospital diseases. Or something.
When was that out? It's not got a date yet.
It's not got a date yet. I don't think. Sometime next year, it says. So. Yeah. There is an official website for it, which we will put a post up for. Next up, we've got the big news that I think Nick, Nico, and a few other people are waiting for. First, basically had a live stream. This is pulled directly from NGB nextgengamingblog.com. Nick posted the details of Curse of Osiris, which is the first DLC for Destiny 2.
It's got loot boxes in it, mate.
Destiny 2 is a loot box game, and that's an example of when loot boxes are done right, because the whole grind is to get cool shit. You know, and you can't buy stuff that will impact the gameplay. Anyway. So it says here that the developers spoke mainly about the new story, revealing some concept art and brief gameplay of the new areas we'll be able to step into. The focal point of the expansion will be based around the planet Mercury, which has been taken over by the Vex, and here we'll get to finally meet Osiris, the infamous warlock. So that probably sounded like gibberish to the three guys that I'm talking to.
Is he the wizard from the moon?
He's not the wizard from the moon. You killed the wizard from the moon straight away.
I have no idea.
But there is an awful lot of content here by the looks of it. So I'm really excited for this. Like I've dropped off Destiny 2 for the reason that I have been playing a lot of other things. I mean, a lot of other games. I will get back to it at some point. I really just want to get back and finish get the platinum trophy and do that stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I really want to sort of get back into it. Andy, you said you're picking up Destiny 2 at some point soon.
I'm not picking it up, but it is on my Christmas gift list.
Okay. So,
are you 3 years old? What?
Yes, I am, Jonathan. Yes, I am.
I mean, clearly you're fucking not. But,
I could have some kind of debilitating disease, and
are you like in that Robin?
Thank you very much. Sorry?
Are you like in the Robin Williams film where he's like 4 years old but he looks like 40? Are you like that?
Yes,
what,
yes,
Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yes. Oh, what, was that Jack?
It's called Jack, isn't it? Yeah.
It is called Jack.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it looks like there's some cool stuff, some more raid content. So it's basically the main hub in the raid was called the Leviathan. It was a big ship. So you now go back to the hub, and then you kind of disperse and go to other areas. So you've not got an entirely new raid. But yeah, it seems pretty cool. So Nick said here that the premise is an interesting one. Essentially, using an old area to create content means that creation time must be smaller, and therefore allowing Bungie to create more content, which can only be a good thing. Yeah, I'm excited to see this, to be honest. So Nick said here, we'll bring you more info next week after the second Curse of Osiris DLC reveal stream, which, yes, we will. Nick will get that sorted, no doubt, for when that comes up. Black Friday deals are a thing that are happening. What?
Could you be a bit more excited about
Black Friday deals are a thing?
Well, they are. I mean, there's some stuff happening next week.
When is Black Friday?
Black Friday next week? The
tomorrow, isn't it, I think?
Is it tomorrow?
I thought it was next Friday.
I thought it was the 24th.
No.
But anyway,
When's Thanksgiving?
I think it's the 23rd. So anyway, the thing that I actually got a press release earlier on today, which I've been looking to put into a news post, but we've been doing the podcast. For a limited time, if you want to get a PSVR, which I know some people probably will say, what's the point? But PSVR, genuinely, I think is the best headset out there because it's affordable. So the Black Friday deals that I've got here. This is breaking news. This is an email that I got on my phone. Starting on Friday the 17th of November. So presumably it is tomorrow.
Oh,
no. Sorry, no. Right. Let me go through this again. Starting on Friday the 17th of November at 0001, we are temporarily dropping our recommended retail price to shoppers who will have the chance to purchase the PlayStation VR Starter Pack with either Skyrim or Gran Turismo Sport. So, for £250, you're going to get a PSVR headset, the PlayStation camera, PlayStation VR Worlds, and either Gran Turismo or Skyrim.
That's not a bad.
That's a pretty good deal.
But,
I mean, considering that the headset's been out for a year, and when it launched, it was £350. That's not a bad price at all. So, if you're in the market for a PlayStation VR, then that might be worth giving a look. What else have they put in here? So, the promotional price will be in place until the 27th of November at the end of the day. So essentially, it's from the week before Black Friday through to a couple of days after. Yeah, like I'm impressed with the PSVR. We have got a copy of Skyrim VR through, so I will at some point get some content done. I believe Jess is doing the review for that because Jess loves Skyrim. I am not. I've never really played that much Skyrim, to be honest.
Does anybody really finish Skyrim?
I don't think you do. Yeah. I think you kind of play it to a point and then go, I'll come back to that.
I know,
and
Jonny.
then you come back to it and just forget where you are.
I know, Jonny. You got into Skyrim a little bit, didn't you?
No. I got it on PS3 and I played it for about 10 hours. I was like, this seems fine. And then I was generally thinking about getting it on Switch because the Switch is good for playing old games that you haven't played before, but you can like play them in bed and in the bath and stuff. So I was gonna pick up on that. I think it's full price though, isn't it? I think it's like 50 quid.
Mate, the pricing of some stuff on the Switch, like,
yeah,
we mentioned Doom earlier. Like,
yeah,
Doom's pretty good.
Doom's very good.
But you can get Doom for
Johnny's game of the year.
You can get Doom for a tenner. On the PS4.
On the system, yes.
Yeah, like I'm not paying 50 quid for it on the Switch when I can get it for a tenner on the PS4.
But has Doom on Switch got that thing Nintendo do where they just put Mario and everything? Like, is Mario in it?
Sadly not.
That would be amazing. Just
you're
imagine.
on the demon and you're the demon.
Link's in Skyrim, isn't it?
Well, his stuff isn't it? Not him. Like his cloak and the shield.
So
are you suggesting the Dragonborn murdered Link and stole his ship?
No, I don't think it's canon.
Okay.
Anyway, we're drifting off topic slightly, but basically, there's some early Black Friday deals that are on at the moment. So you can get Destiny 2 on PS4 for $29.99. Andy, there you go. Drop that in Santa's elves.
Tell Santa, Andy.
Yeah.
Tell Santa.
Boy.
Yeah,
Mike,
Destiny 2 for $29.99. You can get Fire Emblem Warriors Limited Edition for £50, which doesn't seem like a huge deal.
About five.
I've gone up the price.
Overwatch is 25 quid, and then the one that I'm actually quite excited for is the Wolfenstein 2 Steelbook Edition for 30 quid.
Ooh.
I really want to play.
That's really good.
I really want to play. I really want to play Wolfenstein and punch some Nazis and
that's
stuff.
coming out on Switch. That's coming out on Switch next year.
And like you've got a hatchet and you just fucking batter them with that. It's great.
Yeah, that's a fair point actually. Wolfenstein's coming to the Switch as well, so you can punch Nazis on the go.
Is that got a concrete release date yet?
No.
Is it next year? Isn't it?
Just next year. Yeah. So yeah, that's going to do it for that. The reason that these games are probably dirt cheap in game is because they've posted a £10 million loss this year. So that's the final piece of news that we're going to talk about. Game have posted a £10 million pre-tax loss for the year ending July 2017. Now,
just close.
All right, fucking hell. People have jobs there, Matthew.
So this is the thing, right? We've had we've mentioned this before. We've had some things with game before where we've done things for their their sort of YouTube marketing.
Johnny's still got his dressing gown.
Yeah, me and Jonny sat in a sofa with dressing gowns on and talked about games and how they had a good deal on and stuff like that. But then they continued to fuck things up. Like, we had some really cool Destiny 2 content planned around the limited and special editions of the game, which a couple of people had, they'd had ordered, but they fucked it up, so we didn't get it. So I've kind of turned around to the PR people and said, look, I'm sorry, but we had content planned around this, and I'm not prepared to do that anymore. Like, it's... The reason that they've posted this loss is because they keep fucking things up. Like, they will turn around and they will say, but, it's because the Switch hasn't performed as well as we thought it would, or, it's because of poor console sales. Like, no, it's not because of poor console sales. Like,
in their defense, to a degree, is it a cyclical thing? Is it because high street retailers generally on the way down, they're losing money and they can't keep up the orders that way, and they're kind of fucking up because of that? Is it kind of like a downward spiral thing, rather than they're just incompetent?
Possibly. I mean, I think it's probably a bit of both, because they had a brief spike when the new generation started, and then they immediately started talking about expansion. It's like, would you just hang on a minute, lads? Like, you know, again, it is a cyclical thing. So you get, you know, the sheer nature of game. You're gonna have a massive spike when the new generation hits, and then it's going to drop off and drop off and drop off and drop off and drop off, and then eventually, like when a generation gets to 7 years old, like the last one did, it's gonna be really difficult for them. Obviously, they went into administration before. They're going to go into administration again. I think they're not. It's not a feasible business model, and I think the problem is that they relied so heavily on pre-owned stuff for so long. That was a problem. And then sorry, my neighbours are hammering again, and it's really doing my head in.
What?
Yeah, it's Anyway, they rely on so many bad decisions for so long. It's just it's a real pain in the arse, and I feel sorry for the staff there. I really do, because you know I've known some good people that work in game, but ultimately, you know, they've screwed up so much that the business behind it is just a bit. It's just a bit naff. So, I
mean, I used to work at game, and it's a very different.
Oh, fuck
shop.
them then.
Yeah, all right. It's a very different shop now to what it was then. I mean, when I worked there, it was,
back in the 1800s.
we sold cards and the stick and the hoop.
Backgammon.
When the video games are on stone and chisel whacking them.
All right, it was PS2 and Xbox era. Fuck's sake.
I was still in school.
Yeah, I bet you were. But I mean, yeah, there wasn't the aggressive focus on selling on the pre-owned stuff. I mean, now they'd prefer to sell you a pre-owned copy than sell you an actual new copy.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe they ought to advertise games in the front window instead of second-hand iPhones.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what pissed me off about game, is now they've gone to, look, buy an iPhone, buy an iPad, buy something totally that isn't game-related. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's...
I mean, I think the move to sort of focus on digital, and certainly, you know, I think this comes back into the discussion we were having about loot crates and the wanting to retain customers after sale.
Yeah.
Is certainly potentially going to sound the death knell for brick and mortar stores like Game, who are struggling to retain the customer base anyway.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a and could die. It's a changing face of video games, and I think it's certainly sad to see things moving away from physical, but I understand why the publishers want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the big problem for me is you know, Game is always going to be, as far as I think it's always going to be there, because it's the high street place that you go to buy games. You know, like you tell your gran, oh, I want a game for Christmas. Oh, okay, I'll go get you the game. So they go to Game, because it's the place you go to get the games. It's a really silly thing to say, but it's true. Like, you know, that's where people go in order to get video games. And it's going to happen like that for as long as there needs to be a shop on the high street. It's never going to be the place for, you know, people like us to buy their games. I don't remember the last time I actually bought anything from Game. Actually, no, it was the Switch launch night. I bought a case for my Switch. I don't remember the last time.
Switch.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember the last time I bought a video game, but you've just reminded me it was 1-2 Switch.
Yeah.
That fucking worked out well, didn't it?
Not a wise investment.
No, it was not.
And you ate the cartridge.
Yeah, it was horrible. Don't lick your Switch cartridges, guys. It's terrible. So it's
obviously a sane thing to do, isn't it? I'm gonna go licking. Just bought.
They've put. We've discussed this before. I'm positive we've discussed this before. They've put a coating on them so that you don't, you know.
It's so kids don't eat.
Kids don't eat the cartridges.
Or fucking 30-year-old dickheads don't lick them.
That's me.
I was 31 at the time, wasn't he?
When was it? Yeah, probably
March.
was. It was just. I think it was just after my birthday. Anyway,
this is great chat.
It is great bands, top bands, lads.
Anyway, game.
Yeah, so Game are struggling. They've lost £10 million this year, and You know, there was the whole thing about Mike Ashley investing in them, where Sports Direct were probably going to buy them. So
I forgot about that.
yeah, so Mike Ashley's invested in them. He's probably going to have oversized game mugs on the counter, so when an employee spills their coffee, they'll have to shut the shop for flooding. It's yeah, like game is in a tough spot, and as much as it sucks for the people that are involved, that are on the floor. On the shop floor with it all, it's kind of the writing's on the wall, I think, to some degree. But
is this a wider picture thing? Is this just high street retail in general?
I think it is. I think it is.
Like, think of the amount of like big, chain stores that have shut down.
Yeah.
On high street. Is it just like? I mean, they're doing well to hang on this long, to be honest, aren't they?
Yeah. So we'll leave it open to discussion. Just quickly, before we disappear, we have got the poll. Currently, the poll is 86%, I think. Yes, loot boxes are the devil. There we go.
That's how Game can solve their problem. They can just sell loot boxes.
Yeah, sell a loot box, and then you might get a game. You might get a game.
Get some like Street Fighter socks. You might get like a Zelda hoodie. You might get a game. I don't know.
We do thank you for paying to vote though on our
Jonny,
box poll.
You are not allowed to go into marketing, because that's exactly what Game will do.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm in partnership with them.
That's going to do us. Thank you for joining us, folks. We will see you on the next one, I guess, which will be this time next week.
Next week.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining me, Jonny.
It's all right.
Cheers. Thank you for joining me, Matt.
Bang.
Like a good little boy. And thank you for joining me, Andy.
Okay, welcome.
Cool. Right. Please do be sure to follow us on the Twitters at official_NGB. I have to remember that. I'm at Winstano. Johnny's at Jonafang. Andy is A Beacon, and Golding is Sir. Matthew is Sir Golding.
Golding is what? Golding.
Yeah, we've got so we've got the YouTube. Obviously, that's where you're watching this. We've got Twitch. We've got everything, basically. I think everything else is Action Gaming.
We should also mention the Fanish Announce table.
I was about to mention at Fanish Announce. At Fanish Announce, if you are into the wrestlings, into the graps, at Fanish Announce, that's Fanish with 2 N's, is our Twitter handle for a bunch of content about the graps. I'm actually really proud of the first video that got put up on that, because the
visuals are very good.
It took me a very, very long time to do. So, yeah, check it out. We've got some stuff about Survivor Series coming up, because that's on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's come around quick.
It has.
Yeah, so me and Jonny will have some discussions about wrestling. These two probably won't. And, we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us, guys, and all the best. Bye. Let's continue to wave until I don't think I fixed my Stream Deck, so it doesn't quite work as it needs to. Yeah, bye. Cool, we're out.